Hi, everybody. This is Shelley Tugis from the Hudson Area Public Library, and this is another one of our community conversations. And today we have Chantal Doriott. She's with Mindful Way Coaching, and we were scheduled to have her in the library this spring to talk about mindfulness and meditation. And obviously, we've had to cancel those events. So she's been gracious enough to join us to do a video, and we're going to specifically focus in on mindfulness to keep this a little shorter for viewers. And I think you're going to find it really helpful because at any time that we would need this skill, it's certainly now. So Chantal, can you tell us a little bit about your training and background in mindfulness? Because I know, it's a relatively new thing in terms of people actually teaching and coaching it. So just
It
fill
is.
us in.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. It's very new and it's actually kind of new for me. I started my career 35 years ago in the elementary classroom and community education. And after about 10 years, I moved into local government where I spent a good 20 plus years. So I've worked in the public sector my whole career. And it was during probably 7 years ago and I was looking for some stress relief. And I had a gym membership. I knew I didn't want to buy any new equipment. I didn't need counseling. I just needed to learn some new habits. And mindfulness and meditation were just starting to be talked a little bit more about at that particular time. And I found a half day workshop at the U of M and I took it. And I tell people that workshop literally changed my life. And I came away for the whole next week feeling just lighter, just a little more calm, not rushing to get to work in the morning and still getting there at the same time. I took several of those half day workshops because it's almost one of those things that it's kind of like if you're deficient in vitamin D and you start taking a supplement, you go, oh, it is a little bit better.
Yeah.
Everything is a little bit better. It's kind of interesting. So I spent the next 3 years getting trained. I took a couple 8-week MBSR classes, one through the University of Massachusetts, one through the U of M. I'm a certified mindfulness meditation teacher. I did my internship here at the Hudson YMCA, where I regularly, when they're open, teach classes there. And I'll tell you what really drew me to mindfulness and meditation is that it's science-based. So um, eh, the changing, all the changes that happened were within myself. I was creating new habits
Mhm.
through my little practices and different techniques. And I'll show you a few. We'll talk about those today. Um, I learned how to rewire my brain chemistry.
Yes.
And we won't get into a big discussion about that, but I just want you to know that all of these practices and techniques are used worldwide. They
Mhm.
have been studied for decades, and the U of M, Harvard, the Mayo, the University of Massachusetts, those are all really big hubs where the work still continues today.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So for those of us who are like, well, what is this whole mindfulness thing anyway? Can you give us sort of just a brief description about what it really means?
Yeah, so let me tell you what the goal is because I think the if you go online and you Google mindfulness definition, you get something so wordy that you have to read it very slowly and really think about what you're reading to even kind of get it. So the goal of mindfulness is for us to slow down enough so that we can fully experience life, or what I like to say is experience the experience. So even as you're watching this little interview between Shelley and myself, your mind will wander and then you'll realize that and you'll come back and you'll be paying attention to what we're saying and you'll be grasping. And that's being mindful. You're just focusing your awareness and your attention on the task at hand, on the project that you're working on. When you can get into that space where you are slowing down enough to just focus on that one thing and to block out all of this, that's when you start to learn to how you can have control over your thoughts, the stories you tell yourself, your perceptions. And once you harness those, and you don't even have to think about it, because as you're practicing mindfulness, all this is kind of happening behind the scenes. You
Mhm.
will start to notice that you are less reactive. Your fight or flight mechanism doesn't kick in instantly. It's kind of got like a little delayed reaction.
Mhm.
You just become more present in your life. And you find, I think you find, for myself, and I hear this from other people, you find much greater joy in washing the dishes, believe it or not,
Mhm.
or just taking on a project and focusing just on that, like knitting a sweater,
Mhm.
or whatever. Um,
I think it's interesting how you focus on this is a way to have a more fuller life, which is putting it more in the positive versus like this will help you reduce your stress. I mean, which it does, but that really is another way of looking at it.
yeah, there's like so many byproducts of being able to be in the moment. You, I have, my children will tell me that they notice different behaviors in me, whatever they might be, and I don't even know that they happened.
Mhm.
No, I don't even know. And I hear that a lot too. I would hear that in half day workshops. Significantly,
Mhm.
family members or work people will notice changes within you for the better, um, just
Mhm.
by these few little practices. And it's easy and it's fun.
It is. And I did also, you mentioned the mindfulness based stress reduction. I took a
Yeah.
class in that and found it so helpful. Um, for me, the hardest part, um, my friends and coworkers can tell you, I can sometimes have the attention span of a gnat. So that learning to come back is always a challenge for me. But for me, the biggest gain was giving that space between the stimulus and your response.
Mhm.
Because normally I'm a person who's like, this happens, I act like that.
Yes.
And
Yes.
your relationships improve. You have
Mhm.
fewer regrets. You just have a calmer presence when that space comes into your life.
Yes. Yeah, your connection. So this is we're in a unique situation right now. We're um, staying at home. We have more obligations maybe at home. You might be working from home. You might be schooling children from home. You're still trying to be yourself at home. And you've got all these people at home 24/7 sometimes. And so, yeah, so I have a couple of things that I'll share with you
Yeah.
later in this little interview that you can do together as a family to
Oh,
kind
great.
of help sort out all this stuff that's going on. And we're really lucky and blessed right now that it's super nice outside. And I know it's raining a little bit right now, but um, engaging in nature is one of the greatest mindfulness practices that you can do for yourself. And you'll hear me say, I'll give you another example of a mindfulness practice, and it's the greatest thing. So, all of these, just taking a mindful walk around the block. I've been doing a lot of walking myself. We all are. I see people outside who I haven't seen ever in my neighborhood before, and just really take in, acknowledge people, say hi, keep your focus on the different views that you see. Notice people's houses, what's in their yard, like really open up your vision for what you're looking at. Look at the trees, look at the buds, go up to a tree, feel the bark. um, all these little the things. Think about your child when they were 2 years old, and when you would go on a walk and you'd be like, come
Yeah.
on, because they're running up to the tree, or they're down on the ground looking at an ant farm. Or you have the time right now to do that. Take the time to do that.
Yeah. I love that idea of changing that my thoughts control me and learning that I can control my thoughts.
Yes, think about it. You being able to work on autopilot and be a really good multitasker, these are all learned habits.
Mhm.
You learned to do that. You learned to fit 10 different activities into one day. So little by little now, take this time that you are not having to drive into work and drive home if that's your case. And little by little, go backwards and try and fit just a couple things into your day and just like see how that feels. And in the beginning, it might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but
Mhm.
I'll tell you, you will get used to it. You're creating a new habit, and it's not going to happen. Changes aren't going to happen overnight, but I will tell you,
Mhm.
you should feel some sense of calm, release every time you do a little practice. And then over time, that as you practice over time, that's when the big results come in, where
Yeah.
you're not fight or flight, where that's not kicking in immediately in
Yes.
like not a good way.
Or fight and fight, like it's more my natural.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead
Yeah.
and jump ahead to a couple of those examples you were
Okay,
talking
let me
about.
see. Yeah, so and I what I really want to say to it this time right now, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
If you're sad, shed a tear. I do think if you're going to be crying for the next 2 weeks, if you're super sad about that, you should seek some alternative help. And this type of telehealth right now, where you can visit with somebody in the comfort of your own home, it's this is a great opportunity for you to do that if you need to do that.
Mhm.
Um, let me see here. I've got little notes here for myself. If you're angry, shout about it. Another great mindfulness technique is writing and journaling.
Yeah.
So maybe now might be a nice little time to start a journal and just write down some of the things you feel, because often when you start writing down those things, that's all the release you needed to get on with the next thing that's going to occupy your mind. Um, Here's a fun little project, a couple little projects that you can do as a family or just for yourself. A gratitude jar. I'm really big on being thankful. Starting your day out with a little prayer of thanks, whatever that means to you, or ending your day that way, I think is a real nice way to kind of bring in a little ritual practice, something that you will be focusing your attention on. And being grateful and feeling good releases endorphins in you that are really good for your brain health. And the more you do that, you'll just be flooding yourself all day long with good endorphins. But start a gratitude jar and just jot down all the things you have to be grateful or thankful about. And you might want to do this with family members and have them write down things that we like about each other, things that we good things about each other that we like. Put them in the jar. And the next time somebody's fighting or somebody's having a challenging day, go to your little jar, take out a couple of the little thank you notes, and just read them to yourself. And you'll find that life is good.
Mhm.
That's a fun little project.
That's lovely. And I could see, like, at the end of the week, sitting down as a family and going through those, and what a cool experience that would be to share.
For sure. So fun. Um, we talked about the nature walk. I'll tell you, breathing is your life. Breath is life. Um, just sitting comfortably in a space, laying down in your bed, um, sitting out in your car before you come into the house or go into work, just gently closing your eyes for just a couple of minutes and just focusing your awareness and your attention on your breath. And just feel your breath move in and out of your nostrils, feel your chest move in and out. You might even want to play around a little bit with your breath, and you can just see as I you just release. I'm just releasing all that stress and tension. And they will say 5 great big breaths, hold it in, do that 5 times, and you reset your fight or flight mechanism.
Wow.
So, breathing, and there are so many cool YouTube videos on breathing. And I have a YouTube channel, and all the meditations or little mindful techniques that are on there, children can listen to them as well as adults. They're appropriate for everybody, and they're not real long.
Yeah, I think
Um,
people might have this perception, like if I don't have 30 minutes to sit down and meditate, I just can't do it. And the exercise you just showed us might take you 1, 2 minutes tops.
Exactly. Exactly. And it resets everything. Try it. The next time you're having an argument in your house, go into the bathroom, sit down, relax, just got these big breaths, 5 of them, and then come out. And I will tell you, you will be a little less angst. You will feel a little less angst. Yes.
Can you give us an example of something that might work well for a child or that children would relate to? I just know, I have an older kid, a teenager, and she's like, oh, this couldn't possibly help, and like that
Right.
short-sightedness and just defiance because it's mom's suggestion. But especially younger kids who might not understand this, what examples might you give a parent?
Oh, lost you. Um, so there are a lot of really fun children's breathing exercises, and one of them will be in order to help them pay attention to their breath and their breathing, their chest, is have them lay down on the floor on a sofa, or maybe you have a yoga mat and you'll roll out your yoga mat for them and they'll think it's cool that they get to lay on mom or dad's yoga mat,
Yeah.
and have them put a little stuffed, their favorite little stuffed animal or a little blanket on their chest, and they just breathe and watch the blanket or the little animal just kind of rise with their breath, and their focus and their attention is on this, and this is exactly what you are trying to learn as an adult by breathing and paying attention to your chest moving. So for kids, they have another little prop, and you could even do this for yourself if you wanted. If you're having a hard time, just lay a little pillow on your chest and just feel it rise and fall. I have a really fun meditation. I just started doing this with my granddaughter, and I'm just gonna grab this piece of orange calcite. So it could be anything, but I do like having something that's a little more substantial in weight. And you just place it in your palm of your hand. And I'm going to put my hand down here in my lap. And you just close your eyes and you just bring your attention to the weight of the rock in the palm of your hand. And then I would guide you with my words, to pay attention to your breath. And then eventually we rest our awareness in the rock of your hand. But it's amazing just having this one small little prop, how your attention can rest here for a few minutes, a couple minutes. And
Mhm.
that's really all it takes. Um, Nobody ever started meditating and sitting there quietly in their own silence for an hour every day. Nobody did that. And quite honestly, I've been meditating for years and I don't even do that. I
Mhm.
love a guided meditation. I call it mindful meditation, where you always have something to focus on, something to rest your awareness, something to bring your attention to, especially when your mind wanders, because your your that's what your brain does, is it thinks. So meditating and being mindful doesn't mean that you're not going to think and you're not going to have thoughts, because that's impossible and that's not even the definition of either one of those words. But what it is you're going to acknowledge the thoughts. You're going to acknowledge them and you're just going to let them go.
Mhm.
Knowing that and not thinking this at the time, but just knowing that at some other time you can come back to those thoughts. And I always like to tell people, when you're done meditating, if you are one of these people that continuously has the same story playing in their head, you need to find out why that
Mhm.
story keeps playing out. There's a reason. So, anyway,
I think
it's
that's interesting too, because I've always thought about, if you're trying to have those quiet moments and you're finding those thoughts race in, so yes, to identify like, oh, I'm getting interrupted and kind of going to try to push that back, but do so without judgment. Like, oh, I can't even get this right, because it's not easy.
it isn't easy. And this is why I think this is probably why a lot of people quit,
Mm.
because it's not easy and it's not hard.
Mhm.
but it's not easy. And the outcome that you're going to see is going to be subtle, and it's going to be like putting a Lego on top of a Lego on top of a Lego like this, very subtly, one little Lego a day or whatever. Um, and so I would really urge you to do a little bit of searching online too, and just find out a little bit more what you can about the benefits. Um, you read the benefits and you'll want to try the practices, I feel.
Yeah.
Um,
Can you do
because this,
that? Tell us about
oh,
the
raisin meditation.
raisin example. Yeah.
So yeah, mindful eating is a experience all unto itself. But I've taught mindful eating classes, and I'm actually taking some classes. I'm revamping my curriculum, and I'll roll it out again this fall. So maybe we'll do something a bit.
Yeah, let's definitely do mindful
Yeah,
eating at the library. That would be
yeah,
an amazing program.
it's amazing. The first class I ever took, I thought to myself, "Oh my gosh, I overeat," and I didn't even really know I overate.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness, I'm eating things that I don't even like how they feel, the taste, like what the taste left in my mouth. it it's a
Mhm.
very interesting process. But the raisin meditation, and we would have done this at the library, so when we can all get together again, we'll do this. But you take a raisin, or you could take a little orange segment, and you hone in on all five of your senses. So you're looking at the textures, all the different um, all the different things of a raisin. You'll see where the stem was. You'll learn so many things about looking at the raisin just for looking at it for 15 seconds. And then you'll smell it, you'll squeeze it, you'll use your sense of touch. And eventually you will eat your raisin, or your whatever, your piece of fruit, whatever you were using for your focus point. And I am telling you, when you eat this way, that little raisin packs the most explosive punch of taste
Mhm.
in your mouth. It's quite amazing.
And
And
texture and texture.
it's the, so this is mindful eating. So I challenge you today, moving forward, at every meal, to sit down and look at your plate of food, what you're eating. I like to say, I hope you have a plate of color, whatever that means to you. And just take three full bites of whatever's on there. So you'll take your fork, and you'll take one and really feel the texture, savor the smell, look at the color, feel
Mhm.
what that feels like in your mouth. As you swallow, just kind of feel it flooding your whole body with goodness. And just kind of rest in that awareness, and just do three bites like that at every meal. And you'll really learn a lot about yourself and your eating habits, and just it's a real fun practice.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So let me tell you one more fun
Yeah.
way I like to teach mindfulness is honing your five senses. So go down to Lakefront Park, plop yourself down on a bench, bring your kids. This is a uh, fun family activity, and hone in on something, maybe a jet ski on the river. And your focus is going to be very tunnel vision, this one particular object. And little by little, you're going to open up your awareness, your focus, your attention, your eyes. You're going to take in your whole peripheral vision, and you're going to notice the whole river, other boats, people,
Mhm.
dogs, whatever you're going to see. And then little by little, you're going to close that in to one particular item, maybe back to the jet ski. And now you're going to hone in on your sense of hearing, and just listen to the first thing you hear. And maybe it's somebody walking down the path, and you can hear their feet clicking on the gravel. And little by little, you'll hear a dog, maybe a dog chain, a leash, kids yelling, laughing, boats on the water,
Mhm.
whatever. Take in every single sound you possibly can. And then little by little, narrow that back in to just one sound focus. Now you're going to bring your attention to your sense of smell, and just Gently close your eyes, because when you close your eyes, your sense of smell, it's something like 80%. It increases 80%. It's in,
Wow. That makes sense.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And just take a moment and just smell and notice if you, as I'm walking my neighborhood, I notice the scent of pine so much right now at this time of the year. And you might not smell anything, but you're bringing your focus and your awareness and your attention mindfully to your sense of smell for a few seconds, and then go to your mouth. And you're probably not going to be eating anything, but just rest your awareness in your teeth, your tongue, your gums, the roof of your mouth. And then you'll notice, oh my goodness, I'm generating saliva just because your attention went to this part of your body. And gently swallow and just acknowledge. And our sense of touch is so interesting. We never pay attention to it unless it's hurting or it's new.
Mm.
And so all of a sudden, feel your bottom on the bench. Does it feel hard? Or are you sitting on a cushion and it feels soft and spongy? Are your feet dangling and your toes just kind of brushing? Or are your feet flat on the ground? Take your fingertips right now and just kind of gently tap them together and rub them. And just rest and just feel the palms of your hand. And it almost, there's a little vibration that will go down into your arms. And just feel your clothes on your body. Feel your glasses on your face.
Mm-hmm.
And then, and just honing in on your different senses that way. And that's it. That's all you're doing. But here's what I think. Eventually, you're going to start to pay attention to, you're going to be noticing your sounds, your your sight. You're going to start paying attention to what you're reading, what you're watching. Does it really serve you any value? The things you're listening to, the things you're spending time on. And little by little, you will start to incorporate into your life visuals, sounds, smells, tastes that really, really resonate and matter and speak to your body. Like it'll feel good and you'll know it. And that's honing your intuition then. So hone these five senses and you'll get that intuition, and that's your answer card, you know.
Yeah.
We won't even get into that, but um yeah. So, and another fun, I wish I could remember the name of the author because I know these books are at our library. She teaches, it's a visualization for children. It's a
Oh.
series of children's books, and they're visualizations. They're almost a little, kind of a little bit of a meditation, but she'll start out and they're for bedtime, but you could use these anytime. And you relax the body, and then your child envisions their special star from the sky,
Mm.
and the child, you lead your child through this little visualization of a star hovering above their head, just kind of sprinkling this little stardust all down your little body as you relax and get ready for bed. And then you go on a journey, and after you've led your child through this little visualization, kind of a relaxation state, my favorite is going down the river and there's a waterfall ahead. And we're in the boat and we're gonna go through the waterfall and what's behind there.
Mhm.
And usually then you would leave your child to sleep. And there's many a study on creativity, math scores increase with this visualization. Oh, it's a woman. I wish I remembered her name. I'll
It'll come to you at midnight and you
it'll,
can text
it'll
me.
come to me at midnight when we're done. But
Right.
yes, there's a lot of different activities, and they're free, and they're right in our backyard. And all you have to do is take the time, and you have the time now. So make the time to get out there and enjoy nature, and let your kids take the rein, you know,
Yeah.
let them lead the way. And you were mentioning your daughter,
Hmm.
and I was thinking about that. And for sure they're going to roll their eyes. But here's what I would say: kids respond when we are genuine and when we are authentic. And if they find us consistently finding something interesting, they're going to want to know a little tiny bit about it. So I would challenge you to maybe say to your teenager, your older tween, have you ever heard of mindfulness? What do you even know about it? I just heard about it. Just watched this interview. And I kind of wanted to find out a little bit more about it. Can you go on YouTube with me and help me find? And together you will search out some little videos. And even if they're not interested, you sit there and find a video and find something good and listen to it. And I would think little by little, your child will want to see what it is you're doing, and
Yeah.
they might come into the mix. Just know that um, let me see. Uh, had written something down that I thought was really worth saying, and now I can't find it here. Um, know that there will be another time.
Hmm.
So you ask your child today, they don't want to do anything with you, know that there will be another time. There's
Right.
going to be tomorrow, and there's going to be tomorrow. And don't get too wrapped up in them not being interested, and you just keep on your journey, because they'll end up being interested. And maybe that's not their journey right now.
Maybe.
And maybe they'll learn when they start noticing little subtle changes and differences in you.
Yeah. Very
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
So,
Uh,
Chantal, where can people find you online?
okay, so Mindful Way Coaching is the name of my business.
Mhm.
And I've got a lot of resources on there, and there will be classes when I am holding classes. I do have a couple of online meditation classes starting next week, but nothing with
Right.
mindfulness right now. Um, yeah, so just take a look and check that out.
And
And
link
I'm
to your videos are on your website?
and look on YouTube. Look up
Okay.
Mindful Way Coaching on YouTube, and you'll find some really great videos. There's some where there's quiet in the background, and I'm just leading you through a body scan, which is a real popular
Mhm.
kind of a mindful meditation practice, where you literally start either at the top of your head or the soles of your feet, and you just kind of travel through your whole body.
Yeah.
Um, and there's no sound in the back. And then there's another one, I think it's called Rain, and it's just kind of release and just kind of washing away the debris of the day. And you can hear some light rain playing in the background. And yeah, and there's another one that I really love, I Am. And I'm also a really big, especially for teenagers, I'm a really big fan of power words. So your brain believes everything you tell it.
Yeah.
So when you get up in the morning and you look in the mirror, if you're kind of a Debbie or a David Downer about yourself and what you see, your brain and all your little cells and everything kind of believes that and feels that and lives that in that moment. And so that's where I like to start my morning out, with a little prayer of gratitude. And when I look in the morning, I say hello to myself out loud. Hello, Chantel. How are you?
That's
You
really
look good today. Whether I look good or not, it doesn't matter. It kind of, that little laugh, that little kind of funniness about doing an activity like that with just me, myself, and I in the mirror,
mhm.
it just lightens the day and it sets the mood for a little lightheartedness. And so anyway, there's a meditation that's called I Am, and you just kind of rest in your own quiet, restful state. And then I'll say, I am strong. And then the idea behind the meditation is that you hear the word strong, and you don't wrap yourself up in a big story about the word strong. You hear the word strong, and then you see how that feels and where it resonates in your body.
Mhm.
No, no, you're not thinking it's good or bad. You're not thinking it's right or wrong. You're not thinking you are or you're not. You're just noticing how that resonates. And then I'll say something like, I am confident. Feel where that resonates. and it might make you a little bit apprehensive inside. That's okay. That's what you're trying to do is you are, by being mindful, you are learning how different things, different thoughts, different words, different things you read make you feel inside and
Yeah.
help you make good decisions moving forward in life.
This has been really awesome. And I'm so excited to have you back and definitely doing that mindful eating. I just think that's a really cool um, combination of something that, we're used to eating in front of the TV or, whatever. And um, probably all be at our goal weights if we ate a little more mindfully, right?
Yes, yes. I would love to do that. I have always wanted to do a walking meditation. So, meditating, you can sit, you can kneel, you can stand, you can walk.
Wonderful.
So, and the walking meditation it's kind of interesting. So, it'd be fun to do an adult or even a family walking meditation.
We'll
Kind of
do it.
fun. Yeah.
Well,
Later
thank
this,
you so much for doing this. I hope everything's going well for you and your family and that you're safe. And we're eager to see you back under more normal circumstances.
I can't wait. Thank you so much.
You're
All
welcome.
right.